it Jacob? You said Jacob.
Andrew. Oh, my bad. 1, 2, 3, test 1, 2, 3. I think we're live here on Facebook. This is Tiger Talks episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Episode 6. We're episode 6, Rodney. Can you believe that?
Cease. Hey,
we're a week away from Halloween too.
Oh my!
You got your costume picked out?
I'm working on it.
Oh, you're working on it?
Uh-huh.
So
who are you gonna be?
I am going to be Disappear Man. I'm going to disappear that night, so I don't have to do anything.
Okay.
What are you going to do?
I hadn't decided yet.
Well, you've got little ones, right?
Yeah, my grandkids.
Yeah, so you're going to go
out
with them?
So a little quick story, funny story that if my buddy chimes into this, he'll get a kick out of this. It's one of those, if you know, you know. So his wife is a cheer sponsor in Louisiana and posted this deal about a costume contest. I wasn't paying attention. I'm like, hey, send me that form, and I was gonna get in the just kind of help support I think it's the dance team, or I don't know. And anyway, and so I said, Chris, send me the form, and he doesn't respond, and I'm like, okay, that's crazy. And so I emailed his wife, and I said, hey, send me that form, and I'll get in the contest. And I think she was kind of like, well, that's kind of weird, but I'm just going to go with it. And I get the form, and it says for girls, and I text her back. I said, yeah, I feel dumb now. It's for girls, and it's for little girls. It's for, so, you know, we may, if my daughter comes up with a costume for both my 9-year-old daughter and my granddaughter, my 9-year-old granddaughter and my about to be 2-year-old granddaughter, then we might throw them in the contest. Okay. But I can't get in the contest.
Well, so. Shoot, man, that is no. Yeah. I wonder what she was thinking. Like, you want to get in that little girls contest? Hey, Rodney, what's the best Halloween costume you've ever worn in your whole entire life? Like, all man. 60 years. What's your best costume?
Wow. Boy, I wish Kathy was here because I don't really, I'm not sure. I did, this is kind of maybe dark. I did dress up as I can't even remember what they're called now. The one with the hood and the scepter.
The Grim Reaper?
Yeah, the Grim Reaper.
Okay.
I did dress up as him one, but that's, we've kind of taken on, we're not real big fans of Halloween now. And, I don't know, maybe it's because of our faith and all. I still think, you can dress up and have fun with it and all.
Yeah.
But we just hadn't done it as much lately. But I may dress up as somebody next week, especially if I've kind of gotten off track and I need to get back on track, and it's on me. I got to get back on track on the high school football stuff because those are fun. And
oh yeah, that's a
we went out of town, then I had my birthday, and then just been a couple of things here and there. So October's been a tough deal, and they played last night. Most of the teams played last night, so that kind of threw me off a little bit. So I'm going to get back on track, and maybe we do it Halloween week. So
that'd be that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Okay, so Rodney Palooza, your 60th birthday. That's Chuck Allen, the great Chuck Allen's official name for it, Rodney Palooza. So it was a lot of fun, man. The food was great. There was Mexican food. You had like a designer treat table with little tiny cupcakes and all kinds of sweets. You had an amazing band. Like, this wasn't no play around band. Like, this band could actually play. Yeah. They were throwing down the hits from the 50s, the 60s, 70s. They were throwing down hits from the day.
Yeah.
Like, people were out dancing. You had these like $1 million portable toilets out there. I've never seen toilets that were that nice. Everybody's parked all across your lawn. Yeah. Cars everywhere, people everywhere, laughing, having a good time, just enjoying themselves. And then you had pictures on the table. Old pictures of you and your family were like taped down on every circular table. And I could go back and I could see you and the kids and Kat, like when you guys were young.
Yeah.
That was so fun.
That's a tribute. That's a thanks to Kathy and Callie. did all that, and Reese
Do we,
helped out.
do we
Reese
need to
helped out.
give Kathy and Callie props on that?
Oh heck yeah,
Man,
yeah,
they put
boy.
together a slamming
Yeah.
event. That was
Yeah,
amazing.
I've got a slammer here in a minute, so let's give her props.
Okay. So what was your big takeaway from the night? I mean, all your family and friends were there?
Oh yeah, as you get older, it becomes about your relationships, and it was great just to see everybody. And the videos that came through were just amazing. Every one of them. Everything like that just means more to me than I mean, you don't know how long you have on this earth, and so you just want to do the best you can, and you want to develop. I just believe in developing friendships and trying to have long lasting friendships, and it was amazing. And front cover, if you have not gone, you can go on my page. They have a Facebook page, front cover.
That was the band, right?
Yes,
They're called Front Cover.
Front cover.
There was only 4 guys in that band.
4 guys,
And they sounded like they were a 6 or 8 piece band.
Yep,
It was
And
amazing.
They're amazing.
Yeah.
They are absolutely amazing.
Hey, you know the one spot of the whole night that kind of got me, like kind of choked me up and got me in the feels, was then that lady got up and she talked about what you said to
It's
her.
my aunt.
Okay,
My aunt.
tell us that.
Sue Lawson. Well, I mean, so I'm especially close to her brother, but I'm also close to the sisters. And so it's everybody thinks that her husband Johnny was my uncle. He's actually my nephew.
Oh.
My dad is the 10th of 10, and Johnny was the son of my dad's brother.
Oh my.
And so Johnny was actually my nephew, and then Connie, Kelly, and Tim are my nieces and nephews second over. And Tim and I are pretty close. In fact, Tim is a pro at Pinnacle Golf Club. So if you're ever looking for a place to go play, I highly recommend Pinnacle. So a shout out to Pinnacle.
Yeah, you got an in over there, don't you?
Yeah. And Tim does a great job. They have a very nice club. And Sue is just a wonderful lady. And, she's like a second mom to us and has been to me for many years.
Now tell folks what she said, because that's what got me.
I guess it was when my mom died.
Uh-huh.
I said, well, now I guess I got up, and as we were leaving, I stopped right by her and said, well, I guess I need a second mom now. And I have a couple of second moms. There's one on my mom's side that's still alive. Her name is Rita, just a wonderful lady. But both Sue and Rita are just wonderful people, and they've been great aunts to me. They're second moms, and I think everybody needs a second mom or two, and to keep you in line, and to also be there when you're down or whatever. I mean, there's many times that both Rita and Sue don't know that I've gone in and just started talking to them, and I was probably down a little bit, discouraged about something, and they just picked me right up. And they both have battled some health issues, and Sue's probably been a little bit more healthier than Rita, and Rita's battling some health issues, so prayers going out to her. But Sue definitely keeps on trucking, and I think that lady will live till she's 100.
Oh my gosh, she looks so good.
Yeah,
healthy,
she does.
strong, quick-witted.
Mm-hmm.
She could probably.
And what's more even tied to it, even though she was my dad's nephew's wife, she also worked with two, and actually my mom worked there for a little bit. My mom didn't work there as long, but Sue was a supervisor at AT&T, Southwestern Bell, the old Southwestern Bell, and there was a office there in Terrell, in fact, the building. I just went by it the other day, and she was a supervisor, and 2 of my mom's sisters worked under her for some time. So it's been a lot of ties there, family ties there. So, and like I said, I see her middle daughter I see every week at church now, and on Sundays. So And
tight
we're the
family.
same age. Kelly and I are the same
Yeah.
age.
Well, hey, Rodney. So, the night was amazing.
It was.
It was a
It
magical
was.
evening, but that's not
Thanks
the
to
only thing that's
Callie
been
and
going
thanks to
on.
Kathy and Callie and Reese for whatever he did, and Josh and all of them. But big thanks to Kathy and Callie because they did pull off a really good
That's not the only
event.
thing going on at the Tiger Roofing Event Center. Like, this is literally an event center.
It
People
can
pull
be, yeah.
up. Probably 50, maybe 100 cars could park out
Well,
there.
and they call it, we call it the Den. That is
At the Den,
Yeah, I
okay.
got to give props to Kathy on that as well.
All right. So, what else has gone on at the Den here in the last couple of weeks?
So we have a men's Bible study that meets every other Wednesday. In fact, it will be coming up this coming Wednesday. We will have our next men's Bible study. Then we do a few things, and then we have and we'll segue. This is probably be a good point to segue into
Okay.
it. Every year in January, we have a 2-day conference that's been with Tiger Roofing, which you have said you're coming to, and we've got
I will be
another
there.
person.
Yeah,
We
great.
got another person that's coming. We're being headlined. Let me just reel out the names real quick.
Okay, let's go.
It's way early, but so Mike Code will be there. Ryan Stuman is coming.
Fantastic.
We've got Randy Wade, Blake Klickner, and David Griffin. Blake's going to do some encouraging. David Griffin is going to do some financial tips. And then I've got a topic for Randy, just haven't put it together yet. And then I'm going to do some more on the 168. I'm going to resurface around the 168 and sales talks coming from you and Ron Stuman. Ron Stuman has a huge following, and I've already had people texting me, hey, where can we get tickets? Because he announced, he didn't put it at the Den. He just said, I'm going to Kaufman, Texas.
Yeah.
And I guess they asked him, where are you going in Kaufman? And they've already reached out to me. So we're working on that. And what I'm segueing into slowly, and that it's going to take a little good-natured dig at my wife, is she calls me about 15 minutes before I get here
Okay.
and says, what are we going to call this? And I know what Chuck wants to call it.
I know what Chuck wants to call it.
We're
And
not
I
going
don't-
to call it that.
I don't
We're not
care
gonna
what you call it.
that.
Chuck is still going to call
Yeah.
it what Chuck calls it.
And we're not going to call it that. But so I came up with one, and she goes, I'm throwing in my black marble. What the heck is a black marble? Like, do you know what a black marble is?
I know the Black Mamba.
Well, looking in the, okay, then that's a good one.
That's Kobe, right?
Yeah, that's Kobe.
So-
So we talk about basketball here in a minute.
Is it
'cause
as
we
good
could-
as the Black Mamba? Or?
No,
Okay,
it's
so what's a Black Marble?
So the black marble, I was like, what? And she goes, I'm throwing in the black marble. And I go, well, what is your answer? And so she gave me an answer. And I go, well, I'm going to throw in the black marble then. And we spent 15 minutes talking about this black marble.
Okay, so time out. Wait a second. Steve,
So in the context,
the great Steve Casillo is here, engineering. Steve, do you know what a black marble is?
Negative.
Steve doesn't know what a black marble is. How about you?
Andrew,
Andrew, do you know what a black marble is?
Not a clue.
Andrew's on the control
when you're
board.
we're trying to decide on a name, and my wife throws in the black marble at the first, and I'll tell you what I chose. The first thing
What is a black marble? I still don't know what a black marble is.
Hold on. So I said Tiger Days. Let's just call it Tiger Days.
Okay.
And she goes, no, we're throwing in a black marble on that. And so then my daughter gets on GPT and pulls up 20 things. And so we've got two that I said, well, I like two of them. And I didn't like Kathy's, and she didn't like mine. And so the black marble is if you don't like something,
Okay.
you can throw that in,
Okay.
and it negates it.
Oh. Does that go back to like the
That's what my
childhood
wife
game of
told
marbles?
me. I guess that's what my wife told me.
So you could, it's like a magic
According to
potion.
Kathy, the black marble is
Okay.
You can. I don't know if she hadn't commented, so she's probably not on Facebook.
It's like a get out of jail
or
free
she's
card.
or she's rolling her eyes right now at us. So if she
Okay.
is on Facebook, watching this. So,
Well, I still think we ought to go with Chuck's name.
well, no, we're not going to go with that because
It's
it's
gotta-
not about me.
It's
I
Rod.
love Chuck, and he's got. And
I got to
it's
tell
fun.
folks what Chuck's name is.
Yeah, tell them what it is.
Rodney Con.
No, we're not going to do Rodney. Con.
You throwing a black marble on that one?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I still like it. Rodney Con.
Well, no, I won't throw a black marble. What's a softer? I'll throw a blue marble on it. That's soft.
Okay.
It's good for what Chuck's the undercurrent. He can say when he's sitting there on that Friday and Saturday, he can say they may call it Tiger Days, but y'all, this is Rodney Con.
Right.
He can say that, but you know,
I like how Chuck themes everything
Yeah.
that you do around your name.
I know.
Like your
He's
60th
good.
birthday was Rodney Palooza,
I know.
and then your events are Rodney Con.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he has, Chuck has no
Well,
shortage
and
of
so
things to say.
I asked him.
Okay.
Because I do a big Thanksgiving deal too, and that's the next event coming up for family and friends. If you are a friend and don't have anywhere to go for the Sunday before Thanksgiving, come to our house, and we're going to have it out in the shop or out in the den, and we're going to have a big old. We're trying to get to 100 this year.
Really?
We had 73 last year for the first one.
Wow. So the event center is jam-packed with fun and exciting activities.
It is. It is. We're going to do a big Thanksgiving dinner. That came from going back to my dad real quick. He had 9 siblings, and there were actually 2 other step siblings, if I have the story right. And they would meet in a 1,200 square foot home, maybe 900 square foot home. In fact, I still go by the house every once in a while in Waco, Texas. And I went from the time I was about 6 or 7 all the way till the time I was probably 23 or 24, probably 2 years after I went to, I think I was talking to a cousin that's probably 10 or 15 years older than me, and he said that they stopped going around around the early 90s. But we started in the early 70s, going up to the early to mid 90s, and and it kept going, and it would be there'd be at least 20, 25 people in that little small house, and it was heartwarming because they would do it every Sunday, the Sunday every year before Thanksgiving, and it was really cool.
Well, I think you're kind of carrying on that same
Yeah.
tradition.
And that's exactly what I did. And we want to do it with both sides of our families, like my mom and my dad's side. There's not a lot left on my mom's side, and my dad's side is down to the cousins now. There's no sibling left. My dad died 7 years ago, so there's no siblings left, and it's down to the first cousins. And we've even lost some of the first cousins because a lot of them are a lot older. Because number one was probably a teenager when my dad came around, but it's fun. And like I said, I counted them. We had 73 last year, and we'd like to get some on Kathy's side, her mom and dad's side of the family. We'd like to get some of that, and it's just a really, really good time. And we do it at 12:30. It'll be the Sunday before Thanksgiving. They can call my wife or my daughter to get. We're covering the meat. Kathy and I are covering the meat. It's our way of saying thank you and telling you, and all you have to do is bring a side or dessert.
Man,
You
that's
should
going to be
come.
amazing.
You should come.
That's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, we won't have a band. Front cover won't be there, but
But you're going to play the kazoo, right?
yeah, I'm gonna play the kazoo. But so yeah, it's stuff like that we do and try to.
Rodney, do you speak
engage.
at all of your events? I know you got this 168, and you're.
Mhm.
You don't?
Not every event. I try. I mean, it just depends.
Now, speaking of 168, you told me you're going to get on an airplane with me on Wednesday.
I am.
We're going to take American Airlines,
Yep.
and we're both crossing our fingers for the upgrade, right?
Yeah.
We got
Yeah.
seats on the opposite ends of the. We're
Yeah.
on the same row, but opposite ends, right?
Yes.
So, what if we both get upgraded? Wouldn't that
That'd
be
be
cool?
cool. That'd be cool.
What if you get upgraded and you leave me in the back?
We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
What if you leave me in the back with some like smelly, super talkative, gassy person?
I don't know.
You wouldn't have pity on me and let me take your place?
Well, we'll see.
All right.
We'll see.
Okay, so you're gonna take the 168 to Cleveland too, right? We're going to go see Zach.
Yes.
Zach Cooper.
Yes.
Kuper.
Great guy. Great
yeah,
guy.
he is so funny too, man.
Yeah, I wonder if he's a Cleveland Cavalier fan.
100%.
Is he?
I wonder if he thinks the Cleveland Cavaliers threw games the last couple years.
Boy. Is
Because
that
they were
not
so
a
good.
bombshell?
And then there at the end they kind of crumbled, and it makes you wonder.
Well, and you know, especially in light, you know, the NBA was proud of the way they staged their opening week, which was really good.
It was good. A lot of good
But
games.
Not what
Some of
came
the
out
Mavs.
the second day.
Mavs got wiped.
Oh yeah, I was at that game. It was not fun.
But you had great seats.
I did. I had good
Were
seats.
you on the same side when Victor Wembanyama
Yes.
went off and was doing all those dunks?
Yes.
That was crazy.
Yes. That dunk was right in front of us, and the one where he went behind.
Yeah.
It was almost kind of like a Dr. J
Yeah.
tribute. It was
Yeah.
kind of like a little nod to Julius Erving. You had to be over 50 to know who that is.
Yeah, I used to dunk like that until I
Like
got
Reese,
sick.
Reese doesn't know who Julius Erving is. He'll tell me he does, but he
Doesn't know who Dr. J is?
He barely knows who Kobe is.
Really?
Oh yeah, he's a LeBron James guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, you know, I try, but he took Kathy's
That was
side.
some big names that
That's
came out.
Kathy's side that he took on the
I mean,
parenting.
Chauncey Billups. You remember watching
Oh, yeah.
Chauncey Billups?
Mm-hmm.
Terry Rozier. He's no scrub, man. He's
no.
an awesome player.
No.
Damon Jones. Didn't Damon Jones play a little
So
for the
I
Mavs?
said this in a comment or a post several years ago.
Okay.
It was about 2 years ago. Somebody was commenting on the betting or commenting on stuff, and let me just be full disclosure here. I have a very strong faith, but every once in a while, if I'm go east to Shreveport and we're going to play golf with Chris and crew, or just hang out, I will make a sports wager here and there.
A sports wager.
Mm-hmm.
A gentleman's bet.
There you go, on a game or something, $10 or so. And the whole deal is to make it a little bit more interesting to watch. But part of that problem becomes and it's just like with horse racing. And I have friends in horse racing. Horse racing has tanked because it's dirty now. And the horses are you know, treated bad, but beyond that, they are like the horse that was.
Just say what you're going to say, Rodney.
Well, the horse that was. I'm trying to put it together. I'm sorry, and people are like, "Yeah, he doesn't know what he's talking about." But no, the horse was. I think they call it milkshake. I've kind of walked away. I used to love horse racing. I've kind of walked away from it because just of all the corruption that's in the sport.
Right.
That's what I was trying to get to, is that it's just such a corruptive sport. And, you know, they used to say that about boxing in the 80s and early 90s.
Yeah, guys that take a dive.
And in fact, I think the movie, if you follow it wouldn't be trilogy, but if you follow the sequences of the Rockies, I think you would see that in either Rocky 2 or Rocky 3 when the trainer tells them, I wanted you to be the champion. And so we set these guys, you know, he's complaining because he got set up with easy fights. But, you know, when corruption exposes itself, and it always does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And I think that's something that we learn in the Bible.
Comes to the light.
It comes to the light and that may be the thought today, is that corruption does come to the light. What happens is it turns people off.
Right.
Like, I used to love horse racing.
Right.
My family, my daughter was like, "Dad, we need to get a horse," and because she liked it as well. And we had looked at it. I was not in that realm where I could afford it because it's a very expensive endeavor. But we loved it. But now,
why do people not why do people not jump all over people who think that sports are corrupt? And they don't jump on you for thinking sports are corrupt. They jump on you for thinking politics is corrupt. They jump on you for thinking politics might be rigged,
Yeah.
but they don't jump on you thinking poker is rigged, or horse racing's rigged, or boxing's rigged, or basketball's rigged. There's no big outcry for that. Like, you're a conspiracy theorist. No, I've known that basketball was rigged since 2006 when the Mavs got basically cheated out of the championship. And call me a conspiracy theorist if you
No,
want,
you're
but
good.
they basically got cheated out of that. And then it came out later that ref, what was his name, Tim? Yeah, something
yep.
like that. He was throwing games and manipulating games. I've known that this stuff was corrupt ever since the beginning of time.
Well, if you follow another one, another ref just got arrested in that 30 people.
Wow.
It's not a good look. NBA better get ahead of this real quick, and they better, because if it's corrupt and it's exposed, like there's always, like you said, just to expand on what you just said, you could take football, NFL, you could take college football. There's always bettors, or there's always fans that think, okay, it might be fixed to some degree, or we might be, but it's that element of, is it or isn't it? Well, there's no question now about the NBA.
Right.
There was fixed games that were being coaches involved. I mean, you could go to baseball right now. Who's the guy that's not in the Hall of Fame because of this?
Right.
Pete Rose.
Yeah.
And so if it becomes like I just said, if it gets to the light, people get turned off by that.
Yeah.
But if it's still kind of out there, well, is it or isn't it? It still keeps people lured in.
You know, the one I'm having trouble buying all the way into is that the NFL is scripted. That the games are scripted.
I think I agree with you there. I totally agree with you.
I'm
there.
not sure about that because you got to make. I could see where the officiating, may sway a game. How many holding calls are not called? How many pass interference calls are not called? Or how many pass interference calls are called that maybe shouldn't have been called? Like, I mean, how often is some dude's head bobbing on the line where they could call? What is this? I forget what that call is. Anyway,
offsides or false start.
False start. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, there's you could call hundreds more penalties every game.
Yep.
And it seems like they only call the penalties when they want to kill the momentum, or when they want the other team to have momentum.
You could call holding on every play.
Every play.
Every play. That's coaches that have said that.
Yeah.
Now, what I do think, and there's something my buddy I met through Chuck, Jeremy, had said that we were talking about football for a little bit, and he's like, yeah, I don't really follow the football as much anymore because it's become almost like touch football. And it has. You can't hit the quarterback now, and you can't get physical with the receivers, or you're going to be called for pass interference, even though Dez wasn't called or they didn't call pass interference, or didn't call for the catch, even though it was a catch.
That was a catch.
Yeah. And I think, were we at that game, or was that a different game? Was that
No,
the
we were
playoff
at that game.
Yeah, and so because we went to a couple of Dallas Green Bay games, and but you have
not to take anything away from Aaron Rodgers.
The sports has changed. The sports has changed quite a bit, and for that, where's it going? And what I said, going back to what I was going to say, and we got off on something else, is about a year or two ago when I saw every league promoting BetMGM, FanDuel, DraftKings, all of them. And this is not a dig at any company because they have the right to promote their stuff. But when these leagues were lining up and promoting them, you're basically, in my opinion, getting in bed with that.
Right.
Well, what can you expect is going to happen when your players, your coaches, they're going to, even if they're not doing it, setting up accounts themselves, they're setting them up through their girlfriend or spouse or brother or cousin or something. And the line is very fine. If you're betting $10,000 that you're going to get 7 catches and 100 yards, and you pull up with a little strain, and you're betting the under or whatever, it just looks too gray.
Yeah.
did you really have an injury, or were you just trying to cover your bet there?
Right.
And I mean, there's
It's thrown a dark cloud of suspicion.
there's
over
been athletes
everything.
throughout years. I mean, the rumor is, we don't know it for proof or not. The rumor is that Mr. Jordan, many 50 and over consider the greatest basketball player ever, had to take a 2-year break because of gambling involvement.
Yeah, those are.
And
Ooh, I don't know about all that stuff.
but again, if you're as a league promoting it on
Right.
your TV,
Yeah, we're keeping
telecast,
guys out of the Hall of Fame for doing something that the league is sponsored by now,
Yeah, exactly.
or at least
right.
derives advertising dollars.
You're right.
From, and guys like Pete Rose, who Pete Rose says I never bet against my team.
But he did bet on his team.
He did bet on his team.
And I've always been that guy that says you suffer the consequences for your actions. I believe that. I am also going to say this. I have, in recent months, with the revelation of what's coming out and coming down and everything,
Yeah.
maybe I have a little softer stance on that. He knew what he was doing. I've always said to the Pete Rose apologists, he knew what he was doing. He did it anyway. He suffers the consequences, and he's probably made more money by not being in the Hall of Fame than if he had been put in the Hall of Fame.
That's possibly true.
Because he is. I've been to.
God rest his soul, right?
Yeah, I've been to Cooperstown twice. Once when I was up roofing in New York, and then once with Reese when Pudge Rodriguez got put in, and that was pretty cool.
Pudge.
And Pete Rose is there every year until he passed away. He was there every year, and he also has a spot out at Las Vegas where he would do talk shows and he would do podcasts and stuff like that. And
See, Rodney, I just don't
paid.
get it, because if you're betting on your team, you're betting on your team, right?
If you're betting on them to win,
You're betting on your team to win, not to lose.
I don't see anything wrong with that.
It's like betting on myself to work
Yep.
out, or betting on myself to eat right, or betting on myself to invest in the stock market, or betting on myself to improve my education. If you're betting on yourself, if you're betting on a win for yourself, like, come on, man.
What happens is, like, there's a clear example in the 2 years ago when Milwaukee and LA played, and I don't know if it was what player it was, but they put it in the story I read yesterday, where he put it out 15 minutes before game that he was going to sit out of the game because of injury, and then had a person bet heavily on Milwaukee to beat and the Lakers. And so when that stuff gets hit out, that he's expected to play in the game and he's expected to do, and then right at game time they say, oh, no, he's not playing, and the money shifts, that's not a good thing.
Yeah, games are being played.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
When it's affecting stuff like that, or when referees are involved that can make a couple of calls, and I've refereed at the high school level, and you can make a call. You can blow that whistle at a defining moment that could cost a game, or could move the pendulum. Let's say you're betting total score or you're betting total points. It can move the pendulum one way or the other. That's a little bit of a gray area.
Well, refs are human beings.
Mm-hmm.
Officials are human beings.
If it's a natural mistake, because I've made a lot of mistakes refereeing, but if it's a mistake, like we said, you could call holding every play.
Every play.
All right. Well, there's stuff in basketball that you could call. You
Palming,
could call that, but you can also call contact.
Oh yeah.
That could either, and if a team's in the bonus or not.
Yeah.
So if say you had the over and a team was at 99 points and you had the over at 100, and they had the ball and time's running out, and you call a foul, that they get a chance to go that line to shoot 2 free throws.
See, and that's what
I
saw
to one-on-one
in 2006
That's
in the NBA championship
problem.
game. That's what I saw.
Yeah.
Dirk should have had 2 championships.
Okay.
Because that was
I don't disagree.
Those calls were ridiculous.
Yeah.
They were inconsistent with how they'd called the game previously, and they were definitely called in a way that wanted to sway the outcome of the game.
I don't disagree with you.
Yeah, it was like if a mathematician could put the calls into a bell curve, there were statistical anomalies far outside the bell curve of what should have been called or not called in those final couple games that gave the Heat the championship. Gave the Heat the championship. Not to take anything away from Dwayne Wade and Shaq and Riley. They're all great.
Yep.
But it was tainted. That's just my hot sports opinion.
I don't disagree with that. And I would also say the third thing is if you got organized crime involved, that's not good at all.
Yeah, because if you don't do what they say,
Yep.
you sleep where the fish is.
Yeah, it's not good at all.
Yeah, you got to stay away from that stuff. All right, so, man, the time has flown by because we got off on this tangent here. But I want to talk about a post that you made on Facebook this last week warning people about the changing policies and what's going on. As a former insurance agent, former insurance adjuster, somebody who's been deep into this, and you've seen how insurance has changed, why don't you walk us through what's going on here and give us the highlights of what you said there?
So I'm going to go back to two stories. One I just kind of teased in that post. I know what you're talking about. And then I'll go to the actual story of the post that pushed me to write that post.
All right, let's go.
First story was we had in Kaufman, in one of the older neighborhoods, we had a house that was bought by some people that my wife and I went to church with. The person that was selling it was also my son's junior high principal. Great people on both sides, seller and I'm not going to mention the carriers because I have relationships with all these carriers.
Sure.
And I'm not trying to bag a carrier here. I'm not trying to throw shade on a carrier or anything like that. But the seller had a carrier, and the buyer had the same carrier.
Okay.
The seller had the house before he sold the house. He had the house inspected and by an adjuster from that carrier, and they denied the claim. So the roof was fine.
Okay.
So 30 days later, the homeowners bought the house, and this was actually before insurance took a lot of turn in the last year or two. And this was probably 6-7 years ago. I don't know how long they've lived in that house. But anyway, he calls me out. He says, hey, man, I got a letter that if I don't make some major repairs, we're going to get canceled. And I said, why? And he said, well, because they said the roof is in bad shape. So I go out there, and I said, well, did they not look at the roof or inspect the roof when y'all were in the deal in the buying period? He goes, yeah, it was. And so this is two things, brings up two problems. They said the roof was fine. And I go, did the carrier look at it? He goes, yeah. And I go, so you're telling me the carrier that the seller had is the same carrier that you had or that you have, and they denied it under the seller, but they're telling you now that it's not going to be passable if we don't make some major repairs on it. And, most people, and I don't know about this couple, I don't know that I'm not saying that. I don't know if they put all their savings into it or not, but a lot of people put a lot of their savings and a lot of their cash that they have available into buying the house.
Right.
That's a common theme. And real estate agents will tell you the same thing. So the first thing that I would tell you is, make sure that you. So what happened is that the carrier was going to deny it. Now we ended up getting it to where it was passed through the carrier. We made the necessary repairs that we could, but it was a lesson, in fact, that just because you have the same carrier, whether it be whoever, and again, I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus, but let's just say it's ABC Insurance that the seller has and you have ABC Insurance. If ABC says no to the seller, doesn't necessarily mean they're going to say yes to you as the buyer. Just because it's the same carrier, because they're in different departments to begin with. The adjusting and claims department is different from the writing department, and they may have different criteria. That's number one. So keep that in mind. Number two, thought with this story that led to another point that you didn't really highlight is that if you are a buyer, do not just depend on the seller's inspection report. And I say that for multiple reasons, and there were a couple of real estate agents that echoed what I just said.
Okay.
Do not depend on the seller's inspection report. Get your own inspection report. Because if you're the buyer and you're sinking everything you got into it, whether it be a roof or foundation or anything, and let me also say this because my son was about to sign a contract the other day, and the real estate agent told him, after we get your roof done, after you do the roof, we're going to get the foundation done. You have to do the foundation prior to doing the roof.
Right.
That foundation has to set, and we recommend 3 to 4 weeks. So if you are a real estate agent and you're dealing with these and you don't know what sequence they go in, foundation goes before the roof, because it has to settle after it's been done to be able to make sure that the roof will be able to be put on in a correct form. Because when you reset that foundation, it's going to cause some domino effect to areas, including the roof. And a lot of people don't understand that. But this other thing that I was going to say, if you're a buyer and you're purchasing a home, please, please have that roof checked out, because many carriers will bind it on day of closing and then send an inspector out there 2 to 3, maybe 30 days later, and they're liable to send you a letter if they find any damage to the roof of we're not going to cover this roof.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be 30 days into a brand new house and not be able to get your roof covered.
Rodney, it seems to me that it's awful dangerous to buy a house these days.
But the second story, which is what generated the post, that was one story. Second story is what generated the post, is we've been working with a customer, and I said that part of it was on me in that some of the trades, and it said traits or treats, but it should have said trades, got a little dragged out because they were beyond the roof. And we also did some extra work for him. We did some staining of porch post and stuff and put in some new porch posts, and then we did some siding and windows. And it got drug out a little bit, and then I went to help a company out in North Carolina after the hurricane. That was a devastating situation. I went and helped them. So it drug out a little bit, and we had no idea this was going to happen. I've never had this happen in the 15 years that I've been in roofing, or almost 20 now. And this week, lo and behold, he got his depreciation check just about a month and a half ago. So this company sends him the depreciation check. He calls me up and says, "Hey, Rodney, I'm going to hold back just a little bit, but we need to get this. We need to put this depreciation check in the bank. I've got an uneasy feeling about the company and all." And I said, "Why?" And he goes, "Well, they're not going to renew our insurance. They're getting out of Texas." And come to find out, it wasn't just they were leaving Texas. They were dissolving, and they dissolved about 3 weeks ago. We deposited the check. The check didn't clear. Luckily, I'm good and had enough money to cover it, and I had more than enough money to cover it. But so now this couple is dealing with a new carrier, and it's still debatable whether or not they're going to honor that depreciation check from the other company. And here's the thing, and before some of my roofing contractors get on, well, they owe it and they need, I get that, and I understand what you're going to say and all, but as a buyer of insurance, there used to be two trains of thoughts. You would go with a captive carrier, and your captive carriers, I don't think this will be bad to the agents I work with are people like State Farm, Allstate, Farmers, Farm Bureau, Germania, Hartford, Travelers. Those are all captive insurance carriers. Most of them have an agent that only sells that particular product. There are some that are now starting to sell some independent stuff. But here's the other thing. Then you have independent agents, and a lot of them sometimes are brokers, where they'll look at several independent carriers and that they'll give you the best coverage or the best price depending on what's driving the boat there.
Yeah.
And here's my deal, and I want to be careful because I have a lot of independent agents that refer business to us, and there's nothing wrong with using an independent agent, first and foremost. There's nothing wrong with that. But I also do believe that the days of going from one carrier to the next on a yearly basis, you need to be very careful with that, especially if your roof is 7 years or older. And the reason I say that is because they're, one, inspecting more roofs. Even if they bind coverage, they could come back 30 days later and say, we're not covering you. Well, if you've already dropped your previous carrier, you can't go back to them and just say, hey, my bad, I didn't mean to drop. No, they'll rewrite it, and under most circumstances, if it's past 30 days, they'll rewrite it as a new policy. And you're facing the same criteria, most likely, as the one that just turns you down. And so you just have to be real careful about all that. I would always say if you're about to get or considering shopping your insurance or getting new insurance, have a contractor. I would love to be that guy. I've got some salespeople that could come out. Have a contractor just come, look at it, take pictures, and show you the pictures. Because the last thing you need to be doing is getting up on the roof. I mean, a lot of people don't want to get up on the roof, and I get that. So just have a contractor come by and say, look, I'm not trying to get a new roof. I don't want a new roof, but most cases it's free. Have them come by and look at your roof and see if it would pass under most carriers' criteria.
Yeah.
If they're a reputable roofer, they're going to know what carriers are looking for, and they're going to know if you have damage. And I've told people, your roof's on the fence. I'd be real careful.
Yeah.
Be real careful. Or no, your roof's fine. And just don't assume just because you had a roof looked at 2 years ago or replaced 2 years ago by XYZ company or Tiger Roofing, don't assume that in that 2 years a hailstorm hasn't produced a little bit of damage. And I can tell you right now, if a carrier sends out an inspector and they see any damage at all, they're probably walking away from that coverage.
Yep.
And that's unfortunate where we are these days.
It is unfortunate because damage is subjective.
Well, and here's the other thing on the carrier side, and I 100% would agree with this. Say we go back to that scenario to where I'm out there buying insurance, and I have State Farm right now. And a lot of people would say they're bad. I think my agent is excellent. He's a wonderful agent. He's based out of Terrell, and and he would support me. He would fight for me 100%. And I grew up with his wife, know his wife real well, and Travis would 100% support me.
What's his name?
Travis Wilson.
And he's in where?
Terrell.
Terrell.
And
okay.
so but I could promote the people at Farm Bureau are wonderful. Brian.
I don't think it's the agents.
No.
The agents are good people.
Yeah.
They got families. They go to church. They love God. They are writing these policies in sincerity and earnest belief that the claims are going to get paid.
Absolutely.
That the coverage is going to bind. But what happens is that they get taken out of the equation. Like the agent is no longer involved in the equation when it comes to subjectively interpreting what storm damage is. Is it the claims department that's saying what storm damage is, or is it the underwriting department that's saying what storm damage is, or is it an independent third party that's saying what storm damage is? It's like holding penalties. You could hold, there's holding penalties all day long, and there's roof damages all day long. The homeowner is really screwed here because it depends on who shows up and makes the subjective claim of what's damaged.
You're right. It's a human being making a claim. We're
Right.
not getting a.
And they're operating in their own best interest. They're not operating in the homeowner's best interest.
right.
They're operating in their best interest. They know, hey, you got to get this roof fixed or we're going to cancel coverage. They're
right.
wanting to get rid of policies.
You're right.
It's rigged. The game is rigged.
Okay.
And it's not the independent insurance adjusters. They're good people.
No, they're not. Everybody is usually pretty good in this, and I will tell you, we had my son had a adjuster for a carrier, and I definitely will not mention who the carrier was. Had an adjuster the other day just look at him in the homeowner and say, "You might want to take this one to appraisal." And I had heard from a PA, which we have not used a PA very much. We are working with one right now on a particular claim, but this PA told me he's hearing more and more of that because the adjuster is basically winking and saying, "Hey, you might want to take this to appraisal because I think it will get approved through that."
Right.
And why have we arrived at that stage, and why have we arrived? And I think there's a lot of factors, and I think contractors are guilty to some degree as well. As much as what you just said is absolutely very much valid, there are contractors that ask for the moon and fault, and I don't like the attorney that says this all the time, or it's not that I don't like him. I don't agree with him a lot, but he said you took the golden egg and tried to make 10 golden eggs out of it. And when you should have just been writing what was covered and writing what was damaged and doing, and I don't disagree with that part either. Where I would say also this, you were talking about how the agent has little power. A little side story here. I was looking at a roof 2 years ago with an agent or for an agent, and the agent said, I said, "Man, I just, it's on the fence." And he goes, "I'm going to go out and look at it." He goes out and looks at it, comes back, and is like calling the adjuster saying, "Why aren't that? There's got damage." And the guy, a day later, gets a call from a supervisor of agents, says basically, "Stay in your lane.
Yeah. Stay in your lane, buddy.
Don't get on another roof."
Yeah,
And it's like,
we've got you
wait a
collecting
minute,
money
this
and writing
agent
policies.
yeah, this agent's trying to
Yeah.
take care of his,
It's not his job
clients,
anymore
and he just basically got, if you want to stay in the business, stay
Yep.
in your lane.
because we can dump your license.
And that's just
It's crazy.
insane.
Yeah, we're down to the last 2 minutes, and
Okay.
this whole entire episode 6 has gone by so fast.
Yeah.
We got conspiracy theories, sports, betting. I mean, we talked about the event center. Like, so much stuff has been covered. Rodney, let's take the last 2.5 minutes here. How do you want to put a big old ribbon on this? What do you want to encapsulate this? And
Well,
say-
I just
say?
think that we live in a world that can be corrupt at times.
Okay.
And I think that we live in a world that is, pushing us to be about us, and to push, and cut corners, do whatever. And then I think there's the other side to where we have to serve others, love others, be generous, and look out for our human beings, look out for the betterment of human beings. We have you talked about politics being very corrupt. Sports, we talked about sports today being very corrupt. Things, when it becomes about money, it becomes about greed, and greed leads to corruption.
Sure.
It always will. Love leads to patience, kindness, generosity, and serving others.
Mm-hmm.
And we had to have more of that in our lives. The less we have of that in our lives, the more we become very self-centered, very selfish, and very focused on ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And it's good that I could go through several agents, independent agents that I know that take care of their clients and that serve others and continue to do the job on a daily basis, even if it's getting more and more difficult. Where I would put the bow on the insurance part is please start checking your policies, check your coverages, check your deductibles, check your whether or not they stay replacement cost value or move into an actual cash value, which means you lose your depreciation over time. But check those, because as we move further and further down the line, you will have to pay for your roofs on a cash basis or take a loan out to pay for them to be redone. And here's the thing. You can let some minor damage go for a little bit, but one thing you cannot do is once hail hits a roof and it's size of 2-inch or more, and sometimes it can be even less depending on the velocity and the amount of time, it penetrates into the mat. And once it has broken the mat, it will start forming a crack that will lead to leakage down the road. Yeah. And now you got more than just hail that you're worried about, because it will start leaking on your interior.
Yeah. Episode 6 is in the can.
It's good.
Thank you for joining us. We're going to splice this up and send some shorts out. You're going to post some shorts, right?
I'm going to try to do some more shorts. I try to juggle those with the football stuff. I am going to get back to the football. And go Tigers. They're 8-0.
All right. Steve, Andrew, thanks for running the boards. It's been a great show. Make it a great day.